Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here and welcome to my first Harvestella guide. I loved this game and I'll probably make a standalone video on that, but there aren't a whole lot of resources out there for it at the moment, so I figured I'd take it upon myself to make a few for people. Now in Harvestella there are a total of 12 playable jobs. 10 of them you'll unlock as you play through the story, but 2 of them are hidden. In this video I'll be showing you how to unlock these 2 secret jobs. Big spoiler warning because I'll need to show areas from later in the game in order to direct you to the proper locations. The first job's not too late into the game, just a few chapters in, but the second requires being nearly done with the story, so you have been warned. Our first secret job is Aristotle. This job is unlockable as early as chapter 4, though realistically you'd have to go really far out of your way to get it at this point. As you play through chapter 3, you'll gradually unlock 4 fairies to assist with your farm. They unlock various quality of life additions that make farm life faster and more efficient. They also each come with an objective book that rewards you for growing certain crops, tending to your livestock, or adventuring out in the world. Eventually, after completing several objectives, you'll come to a rank that lists an elemental stone as a reward. You'll have one for each fairy: fire, earth, water, and wind. Upon obtaining 1 stone from each of the fairies, you will immediately be rewarded with the Aristotle job. This means if you want, you can go ham on those objectives once you reach chapter 4 to get this early on, but you're probably going to have to speed through a whole in-game year in order to get to the various seasons and actually grow enough of the crops in order to do this. It's going to be tough, but it is doable, and there's no hard time limits on this game, so you're more than welcome to do it. The Aristotle job allows you to alternate between the 4 elemental fairies in combat to adjust the effects of your other skills. Skill number 1 is Fairy Change, which just swaps your fairy on a short cooldown. They rotate in a set order: fire to wind to water to earth, and then back around again. So keep track of which ones you want and when, so you know when to rotate. Your basic attacks will also match the element of the fairy you are currently using. Skill number 2 is Fairy Spell, which just casts a stronger spell that matches the element of your fairy. Skill number 3 is Fairy Blessing. This either buffs the player or debuffs the enemy depending on which fairy you have out. The Fire Fairy gives you a physical attack buff, the Wind Fairy gives you a magic attack buff, the Water Fairy reduces enemy physical resistance, and the Earth Fairy reduces enemy magical resistance. Your final skill is Prima Materia. This attack is the same regardless of your equipped fairy and simply unleashes a massive Sage attack. So with all 4 skills, the class has tons of elemental coverage, able to hit 4 different elements as well as the Sage weakness, though it doesn't specialize in any of them like some of the other caster jobs. Great way to stay simply prepared for any situation, but if you want to focus on a specific element, you may want to consider a different job. Its cross-job passives are 20% less magic damage taken and increased break fill gauge, so it can at least be useful for those, especially against bosses that deal a lot of magic damage. Now we're going to be moving on to the second job now, so if you're not near the end of the game, you may want to click away from the video before this gets any further. The second secret job is Samurai. This job requires you to be on at least chapter 8 and also has a bit of running around involved. When you reach the Aurum Helix research facility on Lost Gaia, you'll notice you can keep following the path past the building. At the very end of a winding road is an NPC that tells you he is looking for a sword and a scabbard. Bring him both items and you'll unlock the job. First, we'll handle the sword, as it's actually in the Aurum Helix research facility. Now in the Seraph Memorial Garden on level 7, you'll come to a door that says it requires a card key to open. Search as much as you want in the facility, but you will not find it. Instead, we have to go back to the original world map to locate it. Now early in the game, you'll be given the option to unlock Totokaku, a mount that speeds up your world travel. Once obtained, that Kanelu merchant that gave you Totokaku will begin selling feed for it as well. Buy the feed, pet Totokaku at your farm, and then feed it to them. As you offer it more feed, Totokaku gets faster and also learns new abilities. First, it'll learn the ability to dig holes, and then after you give it a 20k gorilla feed, it will learn how to swim. Teach it to swim and then take it to the ramp next to Shatola on the east side and go into the water near the Castle of Illusion. Go north into the sea and then go up on land on the east side. Dig a hole and you'll come to a small dungeon with a level 50 fear monster inside of it. Defeat the monster and the card key will be inside the chest that spawns. Now take the card key back to the research facility, open the door, and you'll get the broken katana from the chest inside. For the scabbard, you'll need a password for a door in the orbital cradle. This password can be obtained in a small library in abandoned Eden. The hints on the ground will reveal to you, at least once you get to the door and see the options, that the password is 0726. Now go to the orbital cradle, teleport to Imperio, and navigate to the northwest side of the map. Just take the E portal near the monolith and you'll get there quickly. At the door, punch the 4 numbers in, open the door, and you'll obtain the broken scabbard. Take both items back to the NPC and bam, you have Samurai unlocked. The Samurai job has a slew of hard-hitting, slashing, piercing, and lightning attacks, often obliterating weaker enemies in a single hit. Skill number 1 is Shiden. This is a ranged slashing and lightning attack that you can hold to charge up to 2 times to increase its power and range. A quick tap does a very short range attack instead. Skill number 2 is Utsusemi, which grants you a temporary critical hit rate buff. Of course you're going to be using this one. Skill number 3 is Sentatsuba. This draws in nearby enemies and deals a mid-range slash attack to all of them. The drawing can stun enemies who are not mid-attack, so this skill can render entire enemy packs helpless. Their final skill is Retsurai Isen. After a lengthy windup, you cleave the screen in 2, dealing massive piercing and lightning damage in a wide arc in front of you. If the enemy is weak to this, odds are they aren't surviving, especially when combined with Utsusemi or any other physical attack buffs. Samurai having slashing, piercing, and lightning makes them an amazing choice for coverage, but even without that coverage, the job heavily abuses the break state to amplify its already massive damage. It even provides a 20% physical damage and break damage cross-job passive, so if you enjoy playing mostly physical jobs in your other 2 job slots, it'll just help pack on even more punch. And that covers our guide for unlocking the 2 bonus jobs in Harvestella. Keep an eye out for a few more videos for these. I've just been enjoying it a lot, but now that I've finished it, I definitely want to produce some resources for people who might be getting into it late or just can't find it on the internet. Anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care.